I'm going to show the clip right now, and then we're going to bring Billy in on Skype. But here is a this is me or Billy Burr. It's me probably in 30 years. Billy in maybe fucking 45 years. Watching the Patriots when shit went wrong. Here's the clip.
This is scaring me right now. Jesus.
Watch this.
Oh my God, they won. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my.
How do you lose like that?
Oh my God.
How do you lose like that?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
How do you lose like
They
that?
won.
We just lost.
No, I mean,
Last play of the game.
No time left.
my God.
Grant, you all right?
How did that happen?
A freak play. A crazy play.
How could it happen?
Watch this.
How could it happen? Where the fuck are they all? They gotta keep the other end of the goal line safe.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ!
You knew they were going to do it.
Are you shitting me? Look at this.
Oh, let's bring in Billy. Timing was perfect.
Oh, God.
Let's-
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Pull him up on Skype, fellas. There you are. Look at Billy.
How are you?
You look like a fucking
I
prize.
get my stupid headphones to work here. Some that'll work. Let me see if these ones will work. Hold on a second.
No, they work good.
My headphones aren't working for me, though.
Oh, okay.
It's about me, Nick. It's not about you here. Here we go.
It's about you. This guy's
now
making
I
100
got
grand.
you.
Billy's making 100 grand a minute, but it's about him. I'm doing a show from my house. You look like a drunk pilot on fucking United right now.
I feel like a drunk pilot.
Billy, how funny. First of all, thanks for joining us, man. This is my fans fucking love you because they know good stand-up. And how funny was that clip I just showed? Is that not us, me and you in a few years? Or?
No, I was actually impressed that he didn't lose it quicker. He was just going, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Then finally, the me came out. And, how the fuck are you going to have a fucking guy? I was like, all right, there you go.
How about the fucking woman is 102 with a walking going, what happened? She's got like 10.
What happened?
She's got 10 grand on the Pats covering. What the fuck happened?
No, dude, I got like 10 of my friends. I got a buddy of mine I was just talking to. He was like, we kicked that field goal. He goes, I went upstairs, wake my son up from a nap. And he goes, I came back downstairs like a minute later and all the Dolphins were jumping all over each other. He's just going like, how did we lose that? I actually knew, because I taped the game, so I knew something crazy happened. I didn't know what, because one of my buddies texted me just how we drew it up, sorry. So I was like, all right. So then I was expecting like a Hail Mary. When he threw it like 20 yards, I was like, how in God's name did they score on this play? I love after the lateral when that guy just started running and everyone, all the Pats were sort of running with him.
Yeah.
It was like an escort. It reminded me like when I used to watch when Eric Dickerson, you'd watch his, when he was in high school, his highlights, and you're like, why is everybody running with him? It's like, oh, they can't tackle him.
Yeah. Do you remember the game I'm talking about? I don't know if you're too young. When I was in my teens, it was the Dolphins and the Chargers. I'm thinking it's the game with, remember Kellen Winslow?
Kellen Winslow, yeah, carried him off the field.
Yes, because he was dehydrated and shit. Was that the lateral game, or am I thinking of another? There was another game. Was it?
That was the hook and lateral, and I thought that won the game, but it didn't. That was
overtime.
I think
you're right.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, it went into overtime, and Kellen Winslow blocked the shot, and then people on the Dolphins were trying to say that years later that he hammed it up for him. You know what I mean? Like, remember when Paul Pierce? I love Paul Pierce. Remember when they wheeled him off literally in a wheelchair, and 10 minutes later he came back? It's just like, oh my God, this guy beat paralysis.
He's on a spine board, and he comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one even had me questioning a bit. You know what he was trying to do, Paul Pierce, there? He was trying to pull a Willis Reed back in the 70s when Willis Reed went off in a Knicks game. It was the seventh game of a playoff game or whatever. Went off at halftime with a hammy and came back, and he buried,
He only scored 2 points in the second
Like I was
half.
saying. God damn it. Why would you know that? Out of all the fucking guys I've interviewed.
Because for years I thought he came out and took over the game. He didn't. It was just his mere presence.
You're right.
Rappaport made this great documentary about when the Garden was Eden. It was about the Knicks, and there was this footage I've never seen anywhere other than in his documentary. Reed fought an entire team, and like he beat up a whole bench. I mean, it was like crazy. It's just like 6'5", 6'6" guys just jumping out of the way or going flying because he hit them. And they cut back to Willis Reed, classic like real deal tough guy. He just goes, "It was a good fight." It's like, good fight. You beat up a professional basketball team.
That reminds me of John Wensink challenging the whole, was it the Minnesota North Stars?
North Stars, yep.
Remember he challenged a whole bench to a fight? The Bruins had this goon who they brought up after he bit a guy's ear off in junior hockey, by the way. My friend John Barberi in like 5th grade said, they got a guy who bit a guy's ear off. They're bringing him up. And fucking next thing you know, Wensink comes up. And they challenged the whole Penguins bench after a brawl. Nobody would come off the bench. He was so crazy. He was a lunatic. That was right. That was the generation of Bruins. I came right after that, where a few of those guys were left over: Cashman, Stan Jonathan, Terry O'Reilly. I watched right after. I started watching in like 1980 when Bork still had the porn stash and was wearing Esco's number. And back then when they had the Crowders, both Crowders, Keith Crowder and Bruce Crowder. Holy shit!
Norman,
I'm that much
Norman
older
Levy,
than you. Norman, that was a fucking tragedy, man. So,
yes, it was.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You're a dad, kind of you have a 2-year-old, which I can't picture you. I know you. You're a comic. You've done bits about how irresponsible you are and fucking lazy, like comedian. What has it changed you completely as an adult? Like I always hear, 2-year-old girl he has, by the way.
Yeah, that people like to lay it on pretty thick. Parents, is this weird sort of competition to try to top each other's how much my life changed after I had a kid.
Yes.
Mine changed in that I love my kid and it's awesome being a dad. And but as far as like, I don't look at like, the parent that I hated was the guy who was a complete knucklehead. Then he becomes a parent. He starts wearing sweaters and he stops cursing and he tries to like whitewash his past. It's like, dude, you were doing keg stands. You got arrested for drinking and driving.
Yeah.
So it's like, I understand that you got to like, you got to be an example to your kid. But I think you also have to be, look, I'm only 2 years into the gig here, but I feel like you have to be like honest with them and stuff like that. So it's been great. And, and I just try to avoid most parents because a lot of them, I don't know. People love knowing things.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
So like if you have a 2-year-old and their kid is like 2 years and 3 months, you're going to get a dissertation from them on what to expect over the next 90 days. And it's just like, I just like tune it out, because most it's like, oh, you wait. No, 2's a great age, but 2 years and 3 months, you wait to see what's going to, it's like, shut up. It's like, I always just, if I can't get out of it, I just say like, you sound like a terrible mother. I'll say you sound like a terrible dad. Like, no, it's great. It's just, then why are you just forecasting gloom and doom? Because I'm really enjoying the job. She's awesome.
And new dads today can't do that shit. If they were knuckleheads a few years ago, we have it all on social media, where they're doing their cake stands and fucking snorting coke off strippers. We have it all fucking documented. So
I know. I love how also like, what they did with Kevin when they went back like 8 years. It's like, who was the same person 8 years ago? And it's just like, no, frozen in time, this thing. And then it's like, so then what? Every time he gets like some gig like that, they're just going to keep bringing that up. And then I was really disappointed that other performers piled on.
Right.
After he lost the gig, it's like it's over. He's already laying there on the ground. So now you're going to come over and kick him a few times to get, a couple more Twitter followers? Or so somebody can say you're brave? I don't know. I feel like, human beings are incredibly,
flawed.
Flawed, yeah. We screw up a lot. So it's just like, but you got to kind of look at the overall. And I got to be honest with you, that guy's one of the,
nice.
You know him.
He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in the business.
Yeah, he made it. He goes back into his neighborhood. He's helping people get in shape. He's doing all kinds of wonderful things that, quite frankly, he doesn't need to be doing.
Right.
He could just sit there and do movies and do arenas, but he actually he helps younger comics out.
Like Keith Robinson?
Yeah. remembers people's names and stuff like that. There's a lot of good positive things about that guy, and you know, I understand why they don't want that type of stuff out there, but like there also has to be, you gotta give somebody a chance to redeem themselves. And I think if every time you rub their nose in their own shit, you know, I don't think that works.
It's one of the few times it makes me feel happy to be as old as I am, because my life wasn't chronicled while I was doing all the dumb shit on video and on, you know what I mean? All my stuff was...
I feel lucky that I grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I was kind of joking with my buddy. I kind of feel like we're like the last, like, sort of fun generation. It was like before, you know, Columbine. It was before 9/11.
Right.
And it was before, like Paul, like, you know, back when people, you know, you didn't say who you voted for. Don't bring up politics or religion. You know, let's go out to dinner. You know, let's keep it nice. And I'm not saying, obviously, there weren't problems back then, but, like, you know, there wasn't internet porn. I got to have a childhood. Can you imagine if that shit was around when I was? Oh my God, I can't. Like these kids nowadays, it's like they're 8 years old, and the brain damage they have, it's like they've been on the Vice Squad for like 40 years. So,
it's a great fucking line.
No, but dude, it's true. Like I read this whole thing on it when I was sitting there going, like, I'm watching too much internet porn, and I was reading Rolling Stone or something like that, and they had an article in there. They were talking about how, you know, there's kids that they watch so much pornography before their first actual experience with another person, to the point when they're touched, their body doesn't respond.
Yeah.
Like they're like these jaded. They should be smoking cigarettes, eating donuts. Like, it's gonna take more than that, honey. You know.
Desensitized, absolutely.
Yes. As like teens, and it's kind of like, wow, man, like what they missed out on. Like I remember, like on like my first date, I was at the movies. This is how young I was, and literally her hand, the side of her hand, brushed the side of my hand, and I felt like this jolt go through. Oh yeah, it was just, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, this is like magic.
Yeah.
You know.
Now she could be peeing on your head, and the guy wouldn't blink. He's like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
I'm tired of that.
Come on, I you know, I just washed this shirt. You know. It's not that you're peeing on me. I just really like this shirt.
I had a joke about that as an open micer. I actually had a joke about it, and it wasn't even porn. Wasn't even. This is what when did I do that? 87. I was an open micer, but I had a joke about how desensitized, and I guess it was porn, but it wasn't internet shit. That wasn't big yet. But I had that joke when a guy would go out with a girl the first time and come home, and you know, back in the day, the friends would be like, "So did you kiss her or whatever the fuck?" Now it's like, how many fingers did you get in her ass? That's like, you know. So,
wow, your dick jokes were ahead of their time.
I was very prescient. I was very prescient when it comes to. I whacked off to the Indian on the Land O'Lakes Butterbox. That was my whole bit on the fucking evolution of porn. That's how fucking old and embarrassing it is. Speaking of, how's the animated thing going, Billy? F for Family, right? Third season?
F for Family. It's going great. It's third season just came out. The you know, seems, you know, it's Netflix, so you don't get ratings, but it seems like it's doing well. So hopefully, you know, we get another one. We get to go in there and continue the story. But it's really fun to write a serialized show, especially as an animated show. It's just really interesting because one of my favorite shows as a kid, I liked Johnny Quest, because if somebody got shot, they died. And I thought that was really cool, after seeing the coyote fall off the cliff
and be fine.
Yeah, he was like an accordion for a couple of
he get hit with an anvil. Get hit with an anvil, and he was.
Yeah.
That's why I hated. That's when I started to turn off on cartoons as a kid. When like Scooby Doo, it was like watching a detective show. They might as well have had actors. You know what I mean? It wasn't the whole idea of animation. Like, you know, is well, it's twofold, but I did like when like, here's a scenario. Remember the Pink Panther?
Yeah.
This still is in my head. He's laying, he gets hit by an anvil and he gets crunched. He's all fucking wrinkly. He lays himself on an ironing board. He's ironing himself with an iron.
There you go.
The phone rings. He picks up the phone, forgets the irons on his stomach. It burns a hole through his stomach. So he grabs an alarm clock, puts it in the hole, and the alarm clock goes off, and he vibrates off the fuck. That was cartoon stuff.
Do you know what? The Pink Panther had the best sound of somebody falling on the ground. It's an iconic sound. And it sounds like the air is coming out of somebody and the sound of just like somebody hitting the ground. And they've actually used that sound effect in movies today. It was the perfect. I don't know who can. They always do like those behind the scenes with the people, punching lettuce, to make the sound effects for like a head of lettuce for a fight.
Yes.
And I was just like, who was the guy that did that sound effect? Who's now like 102? Was like, that was me in 1948.
Yeah, they give the guy behind the Three Stooges gave the guy that did all the sound effects for them. They gave him a ton of credit.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Stooges getting hit with a fucking wrench? And real quickly, I talked to you earlier. You said you were going to make a Sunday tomato sauce. And I'm looking at you. Just looking at you. I don't think you know what you're doing. So if you need
it's a different world, man. It's a different world. Everything's all infused now. Back in the day, like how much of an ass kicking I would have had to get just to get into your Italian American neighborhood, just to even realize that dish existed.
I grew up in the neighborhood like you, Billy. To be honest with you, I was in Danvers, rich,
all right.
middle class suburb, all white.
I remember my first car loan was there, Danvers Savings Bank.
Why?
One Conant Street.
Why?
Yep.
Why was it in Denver?
I don't know why. My dad had a good relationship with that bank, so we drove all the way up to the North Shore to get a loan on my first car.
Here's what you want to do: get a. This is right from Italy. Get a cheap pork loin, right? Like $6 or $7. Pretty sure you can afford it. I see you selling out stadiums in Europe, and braise the pork loin in a little bit of oil. Braise it slowly, and actually cut it up in chunks first, and then braise it slowly. Take the meat out, then you put in your onions, your garlic. This is important because you might have to cook for 12 or 14 people someday. And put in the onions and garlic and the tomatoes, then put the meat back in. You were asking about that earlier, and let it simmer slow for a couple hours.
Well, here's the question:
Yeah.
do you take any of that grease out of the pan?
No, you don't.
A little bit.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Here's what you do though. At the end, you're going to have a layer of grease.
Right.
Coming from
that
a grease. Yeah, which is a sign you're doing it right. That you can sort of scoop off the top.
And you scoop it off with a wooden spoon or whatever?
Or with up your nose with a straw, the way Sweeney used to do it. Use a fucking... No, you're Irish. Use a beer bottle. Just kind of... just scoop it off with a ladle, just a little bit. But that's a sign you're making a great sauce. And but don't forget the onions and garlic, and that's my grandmother's recipe from a Abruzzi. And then shred the meat up and put it back in if you want. It's already in there. Okay. But whatever. That's all it is.
I'm gonna send you a clip of a guy because I started watching. There's this guy. What's his name? I forget his name. He's out in San Francisco, and he makes all these. This is town. He goes, my name's so and so. I live on the hill.
Nancy Pelosi.
Every morning I walk down. And I buy the ingredients that I'm going to cook that evening. My name is so-and-so, and this is what's left of the Italian-American section in San Francisco. So he makes the Sunday gravy.
Right.
And on YouTube, I end up clicking on this other guy. It's this Canadian dude who has some sort of substance abuse problem. He's kind of getting hammered. He's cooking it by himself. And he just, at one point, launched off into this tangent of some woman trying to cut him at his doctor's office, where he said, my doctor's trying to give me my dope. And I got to send you this clip, dude.
This is a cooking clip?
Yeah. It's everything. It's everything that makes the internet great. I'll send you the clip. I don't want you to post it because I don't want to get the guy in trouble.
Yeah, no.
It's fucking funny as hell, man.
It's a nice Sunday gravy with a Hep C. Fucking touch of Hep C in it.
Oh, no, he's smoking butts and stuff. He's like throwing his lighter down. It's hitting the friggin' salt shaker. It's hilarious.
I gotta check that out. Billy, I'm gonna let you go, but you're going to Europe. This is a fucking.
Yes, I am.
This is a rock star comic, and I don't, Billy. I know this. The one thing I do know is comedy. It's the only thing I know how to do for a living. I really do think you're the best out there today, and you and Louis, you and fucking Louis to me, and there's very few guys I idolize. I text Billy. I was coming home from doing morning radio in Connecticut, and you came on satellite radio, the rescue dog bit, and I actually text Billy. I go, this made me feel two ways. It inspired me to write some more, and it made me, and on the other hand, it made me want to quit comedy because that rescue dog. I'm jaded. I've been doing this 30 years. I don't laugh at anything anymore, unless it's somebody getting hurt seriously on the field or whatever. But I was fucking. I had to text Billy, and it was just fucking. I was happy and depressed and all in one. So where are you going in Europe? We'll probably put your dates up right after we're done with you here. But I know Cologne, Germany.
Cologne, Germany, which I learned last time I was there, was one of the most bombed cities in World War II. That's definitely saying something. Berlin. I'm going to Budapest, Warsaw, Prague,
Jesus,
Estonia, Latvia, and everything. Well, that's like, one of the few things that I kind of saw it for what it was Netflix. And I kind of looked at that and I was like, because I was already starting to go overseas and I wanted to keep expanding.
Yep.
And I saw, like, everywhere I was going, in the beginning, and Netflix was either on their way to being there or was already there. That was my first tour. And by the next tour I went to, they were just everywhere. But I was able to, and I have my little tricks on how to sell tickets over there. Like, I just started following Liverpool in the Premier League.
See?
So now I can talk about the game, and then I just make fun of people. I make fun of their stadiums, and I just sort of give them shit. And it's just funny for them, hopefully, to hear some Yank talking about their sport. And then it will make them want to come out to the show. So it's my own sort of weird marketing that I do.
No, it's brilliant because my next question to you was, I've done a little over. I mean, I did Manchester Festival, Manchester, England.
They have fun. Those guys are fun over there.
Yeah, but anytime I've gone overseas, I did Hong Kong, but those are expats in the audience, so it went pretty well. But even Canada, I noticed a lot of my Americana references fall on deaf ears. Do you don't find that? Is your stuff like must be?
No, I just act like I'm here.
And
the mistake I made when I first went over was thinking everything. The last thing I remember thinking about was I had some bit where I was going to use a squirrel as a reference. And I'm standing on stage in London thinking, like, wait, do they have squirrels? Did I see a squirrel? Did I walk through the park? Do they have squirrels?
They treat them like rats over there.
Yeah, well, they have those little red ones. They don't have the big gray ones, but they do have squirrels. So they have ginger squirrels over there, Nick, right? So I was on my heels. So then they got on their heels, and I just started bombing. So it wasn't that I was kind of pissed about that. I had a bad show. Then I went to Oslo. It was just a drinking crowd, and I was just like, fuck this. And I just walked out there like I was going on at the store or, at the comic strip or something, and I just clicked, and they get a ton of references and everything. And, but what I find is, you just got to do a couple of them to get it, under your belt, kind of know which things to steer away from and what to hit a little bit harder, and it works out.
Must be. I mean, you're selling tickets like crazy. And, I remember being up, I was in England, Manchester, England, and I'm like, oh, my God. I'd see the next bit coming in my head, and I'm like, oh, this has like 3 Subway sandwich shop references in it. What the fuck?
Yeah. Do they know where Syracuse is? Is there a Syracuse, England?
All right, Billy. Hey, man, I can't thank you enough. And like I said, you're as good as anybody doing this ever, in my opinion. So
hey, right back at you. Back at we were telling DiPaolo stories the other night. We went out to get a steak dinner, and we were talking about it was Nick says something horrific that loses the crowd, and then his next joke gets an applause break. Story.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop that pattern, man. I make a lot of work for myself. But go to BillyBurr.com, I think, right? Is that where we're going to put your dates up? And so kill it over there, Billy, and hopefully we'll talk to you again. I can't thank you enough, buddy.
All right, I'm going to send you that clip. Watch it after the show.
Oh, I will. And tell me I said hi.
Okay, buddy. See ya.